In the economy, crime management, and other indices, the government has lost momentum in opinion polls. How concerned are you that your administration is suffering from electoral fatigue midway this term?
If I were to say I was not concerned, I would not be telling you the truth. Obviously, we would be concerned. But you have asked the question in the correct way. Midway the electoral term, electorates experience fatigue. It is a reality that every government, except maybe one or two I can pick out for other reasons, one in Central America, is not experiencing this fatigue. And the fatigue is genuine on both sides of the equation, meaning that we went through a 100-year event which diverted the energy and the creativity and attention of the cabinet to focus almost wholly and solely on that. In other words, everything that we did, we saw it through the prism of the pandemic, just to ensure that the country came out strong afterwards. And that would have derailed many of the other projects that we have had. Of course, the country coming out without having to contend with the gloom and doom of an economic downturn immediately forgets that. And the focus is, well, what about the things that you had promised us? Then you pile onto that inflation. So obviously, the fatigue would have worsened. So a part of our response has to be a recalibration in how we communicate. We can't take it for granted that people understand what is happening. So we have to be very explicit in our communications to people. And secondly, the immediate needs that are now pressing, we have to address those. And we have to acknowledge that the lagging effect of the pandemic is not just inflation, which 2 years after the pandemic we're still experiencing. 6.2 is just outside of the range that we would want. And remember now, to treat that inflation, we have had to increase interest rates, which has its own knock-on effect. Then we have the emotional and psychological issues. We have the health issues. Minister Tufton, I've asked him to give an update. Remember now, during the pandemic, we had to postpone elective surgeries and redirect our health resources. So there's still that lagging effect in the society, which somehow, nobody remembers that. Then we had the supply chain issues, which we have still not recovered. The problems with the South Coast Highway, one perfect example, the pipes that we needed to lay, there were many, many, many months delayed. And there are many other projects, particularly in construction, where this is the case, that we have had to wait. And in water, pumps that we ordered, just the production cycle was way behind and we couldn't get them, and so there were communities that were disrupted. All of these issues are not in the minds of the public because we are saying to the public, everything is good, the economy is good. No, yes, the economy is good, but the impact of COVID still resonates throughout the society. We have spoken about the learning loss. We have spoken about the psychological and emotional issues, the increase in the mental health issues. All of those are impacts on the society.